How pregnancy changes a cat's sensory world. First, nothing seems different. She still walks through the same rooms. She still rests in familiar places. She still watches the world from her usual corners. And yet, if you look closely, there is a subtle shift in the way she listens. A small pause before settling. A longer glance toward the hallway. A quiet stillness that feels more intentional than before. Pregnancy does not only grow life inside her body. It begins by reshaping how she experiences everything around her. The world itself has not changed, but to her it may suddenly feel louder. Welcome back. Today we are exploring something that often goes unnoticed during feline pregnancy. Not nesting behavior, not appetite changes, but something more delicate. The quiet recalibration of her senses. Because before she prepares a place for her kittens, her body prepares her awareness. And awareness begins with perception. The first shift is not visible. Long before her body becomes visibly round, internal chemistry begins to adjust. Hormonal changes influence not only physical development but also neurological sensitivity. Her nervous system, guided by instinct, begins to operate with slightly different thresholds. This does not mean she suddenly hears new frequencies or sees entirely new details. Cats already possess extraordinary sensory abilities. What changes is not capability, but interpretation. Stimuli that once felt neutral may now feel significant. Sounds that once blended into background noise may now demand attention. You might notice she lifts her head more quickly when a door closes. You might see her ears rotate with sharper precision toward distant footsteps. These are not dramatic reactions. They are refined ones. Her body is tuning itself. When sound carries more weight, sound often becomes the most noticeable shift. A television playing at its usual volume may seem to interrupt her rest more easily. Laughter that once passed without reaction might cause her to pause and evaluate. Even the rhythm of your movement in another room can draw her gaze. It is important to understand that this is rarely fear. A pregnant cat is not automatically anxious. What she often displays is vigilance without panic. Her stillness becomes more attentive. Her listening becomes more deliberate. In the wild, a mother's survival depends on early detection. Preparation does not wait until birth. It begins the moment her body recognizes responsibility. Heightened auditory awareness becomes a quiet rehearsal for protection. The room may sound the same to you. To her, it may carry more information. Movement feels closer. It is not only sound that changes. Movement begins to carry new meaning as well. You may notice her watching you walk across the room with greater focus than before. Quick gestures might cause a subtle widening of her eyes. Objects placed down abruptly may interrupt her relaxation, even if she quickly settles again. Pregnancy introduces vulnerability. Even in the safety of a home, instinct does not disappear. Her brain measures distances more carefully. It evaluates speed. It monitors patterns. She is not expecting danger, but she is practicing readiness. This heightened awareness often makes her appear thoughtful, almost contemplative. She may sit upright longer before lying down. She may scan the room once more before closing her eyes. These behaviors are small, yet meaningful. Her senses are mapping safety in finer detail. Well-known places reconsidered. One of the more subtle psychological shifts during pregnancy is the reevaluation of familiar environments. A space she once crossed confidently may now receive slower inspection. A favorite resting place may suddenly feel too exposed, too open, too central. Corners begin to feel appealing. Areas beneath furniture gain new significance. Spaces with partial enclosure offer comfort in ways they did not before. Nothing about the room has changed physically. The couch remains where it was. The windows still filter light in the same way. What has changed is her internal priority system. Exposure feels different when protection becomes central to her biology. It can be tempting to interpret this as moodiness or unpredictability. In reality, it is adaptation. She is reassessing the world through a new lens, one that prioritizes containment and control over openness and ease. Security begins to outweigh curiosity. The sensitivity to scent. Scent, which already defines much of a cat's perception, can also take on new intensity during pregnancy. Subtle odors may linger in her awareness longer. Strong cleaning products may cause her to avoid certain areas. New perfumes or unfamiliar visitors might receive prolonged investigation. Scent is not merely a smell to a cat. It is layered information. It tells her who has been present, what has changed, and whether an environment remains stable. During pregnancy, stability becomes precious. You may find her investigating laundry piles or resting in areas saturated with familiar household scent. These are not random preferences. They are selections rooted in reassurance. Consistency in scent allows her nervous system to rest. Frequent environmental changes require additional sensory processing, and processing consumes energy. Pregnancy is already an energy-intensive state. Simplicity becomes soothing. Why she may seem different. Many owners describe pregnant cats as behaving differently without being able to define how. The difference often lies not in dramatic behavior but in subtle intensity. Her gaze may feel deeper, her reactions slightly quicker, her pauses slightly longer. These small adjustments can create the impression that she is on edge. Yet true agitation looks chaotic and restless. What most pregnant cats display is controlled alertness, calm readiness. She may choose quieter rooms. She may settle further from sudden activity. She may prefer evenings when the house grows still. These are not rejections of you. They are negotiations with her environment. Her system is balancing protection with comfort. Your presence in her sensory world. When her perception shifts, your presence becomes more influential than before. The tone of your voice, the rhythm of your steps, the predictability of your routine all register with greater clarity. Gentleness becomes powerful. Soft movements across the room require less processing from her nervous system. Consistent daily patterns create a stable sensory map. Predictability allows her to relax her scanning. This does not mean walking on eggshells or creating artificial silence. It means understanding that her thresholds may be temporarily lower. A door closed gently instead of slammed. A vacuum introduced gradually rather than abruptly. Small considerations carry large effects. When her environment feels manageable, her body can redirect energy toward growth rather than vigilance. The intelligence of preparation. All of these sensory adjustments serve a single biological purpose. Preparation. Before she selects a nesting space, before labor approaches, before you witness any outward sign of motherhood, her internal systems are refining perception. She is becoming attuned to nuance. She is practicing detection. She is strengthening awareness. This transformation is not dramatic, yet it is profound. Pregnancy is often viewed through physical changes alone, but psychological recalibration begins first. The world does not become louder in reality. It becomes louder in relevance. And relevance is everything when life depends on you. If your pregnant cat seems more watchful, more selective about where she rests, or more responsive to sound than before, you are witnessing adaptation, not instability. Her senses are not betraying her. They are equipping her. When you recognize this, something softens in your own movements. You begin to close doors more gently. You lower your voice without thinking. You allow quiet to stretch a little longer in the evenings. Because when her world feels louder, your calm becomes her anchor. In our next exploration of this pregnancy series, we will move inward and examine how these sensory shifts begin to influence her emotions, and why withdrawal and sudden closeness can exist side by side during this delicate time. Until then, observe gently. The new beginning of life brings some changes on cats' perceptions, and Cat Facts Funny provided small insights about the pregnant female cats. The good news is that this series will go on with further cat pregnancy episodes. And if you value this deeper study of feline psychology, consider subscribing. We are not simply watching cats live. We are learning how they experience the world.